Hey guys, this is Big Ben here, and I'm going to go over, because it's that time of year. People are going out and they're buying campers, either from me, dealership, like whatever, or private party. And there's some things that I look for with my experience that I can kind of tell pretty quickly if a camper's been well taken care of, or if maybe you need to do a little bit more investigation or run away. Could be. So, this is a brand new trade we just got. It's a 2021, and you'd always think of 2021 should be pretty good, but you'd be surprised. I've seen some that no maintenance whatsoever, and then they have issues. So let's get right to it and see what I look for. So here we are at the front of this used travel trailer. It's a 2021 KZ Connect 191 MBSE. Just in case you're looking for a camper, this is an awesome camper. Great shape. But if I was going to be inspecting it, say I was going to a private party, things I would look for are in the front. You want to, test out the like that, anywhere, especially if there's a window. A lot of times on an older camper, you're going to get some kind of leak. Now, this was a frameless window, less chance of a leak. But if you have the framed window and they haven't done their maintenance, you want to press all around that to see if there's any soft spots or anything there. Another thing I look for is in the storage area. So now this one has a mattress in there kind of in the way, but I would look in the front corners up in there, because that's another spot where water, if they aren't doing their maintenance, water will seep in. And then right here by the storage door floor, another spot. So if you have an older camper and you see this little foam, it gets smushed down after a while. Water can get in there. And if you get enough of it, it can cause water damage. So that's something to definitely look for. One thing that people point out all the time, but it's not that big of a deal, are the jacks. So if they're a little rusty, that's not the end of the world. It's Wisconsin. If they're out using it, it's going to get rusty. It's easily taken care of with some grease. You can paint them, whatever. You could even replace them if you had to. So it's not the end of the world. You also want to look anywhere that you have a hole going into the camper, like these screws. That's normal, but you just want to make sure everything was done right and there's no water damage anywhere around there. We always look for pinholes or fraying on all of our awnings. So if you're bringing one in the trade, that's what we're looking for. But if you're buying one private party, that's another thing you want to look for, is pinholes or fraying on that. Going down here, now the axles and the tires, you just want to make sure the tires are not weather checked with cracks and stuff, because something's been sitting for a while. The tire may look good, may have a lot of tread, but it still could be a hazard going down the road because it will blow out, because they get rotted after a while. Now, if you want to keep your tires from rotting, let's say you just have a camper, keep it off the ground. The moisture, the heat, back and forth is what causes that weather checking. Here are some windows that are framed. So you want to check around those, make sure there's no soft spots or whatever. Obviously, this one's newer, but an older one, you could have that. On the back side, you kind of want to look down. If it's a fiberglass one like this, you want to look down the side and see if there's any waviness. Now, this one has a slight bow, but I'm pretty sure it was made that way. But if you had waves where it was coming apart from the frame, that's an indication that water has gotten in there. Obviously, if you have the ability to go on the roof, get on your hands and knees and cover everything, because it might be hard, and one little soft spot, and that could be thousands of dollars of damage to repair it. On the backside, on the slides, very important. If you have a slide, you want to check these gaskets. You want to make sure they're nice, soft, and supple. If they aren't, if they have tears in them, that's a good indicator that water got in there. And a lot of times water will run down, and there's certain brands in certain years that have this channel that goes around the edge and water sits there. So you want to go underneath, and you always want to check on the corners of the slide all the way over here, and then look underneath to make sure everything looks to be good. There's no sagging. If you see the floor sagging, not a good sign. Probably water damage there. So that's the main things I look for. The other thing is in the storage area. Now, if this one was more clear, you could see. But if it's an older camper and that's like in pristine condition, the storage area is pristine, hey, that's a good sign that people really did a good job taking care of the camper. And if it did have a ladder on the back and all the bolts were tight and that kind of thing, that's another sign. It's a small thing. They took the time to make sure that even the littlest of things were taken care of. So there you go. If you have any questions, give me a call. Big Ben, 715-614-2121. So now we're going inside our used camper. We're going to look at different areas that I look for when I'm inspecting a used camper for some telltale signs that it might have some issues. One is in the front cap in the corners. You want to look for discoloration, look for waviness in the walls, because that's where water will get up there and sit, get into the walls, and cause that discoloration and waviness. And then you may have a problem. Sometimes it's just old age and humidity that causes things to happen, but at least it's something to look into. Look around the windows again, on an older camper especially, see if there's any soft spots anywhere. And then on the corner of the slides. So what happens is water, if it's getting in, will kind of sit down here in the corner. So you want to check that out. If possible, the back corner. And then, of course, on the ceiling part of the slide too. Important things to look for. Mechanically, the slide's not working. That's things you can repair. It's not the end of the world. But you got water damage. You don't know how far it's gone and what you're going to have to replace. Inside also, you're going to be looking in the front or the rear corners. Look up in the cabinets, along the corner of the wall. But up in the cabinets is a good indicator. Are there any soft spots or water damage, brown spots? In the bathroom, same kind of thing, around the windows. And then especially if it's an older camper with a skylight, you want to test out that ceiling all around that, because that's a common area to leak if they haven't done their maintenance. So you do want to step into the shower, but don't step on the drain because they aren't made for that. But you want to step in there to see if there's anything that hasn't been kept up there. So there you go. That's a pretty simple. I'm sure everybody else has many other things that they look for, but those are some simple things that you can do to just kind of identify quickly if you have a problem in a camper you're looking at. So if you have any more questions, give me a call. Big Ben, 715-614-2121.